guys, welcome to another vlog. I'm here with our Revo Stage 4 Fiesta ST, and obviously just giving you a bit of an update as to kind of what's going on with the car. Have still got it, it's not going anywhere. Yeah, just thought I'd update you and give you a little bit of a vlog, a little bit of a video, and tell you what's going on with the car. Obviously a bit of a situation under talking it really, but obviously a pandemic going on, which has meant we haven't been able to go out in the car. So this is the first time out in the car for quite some time, so it's been really good to kind of feel the car, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. And also I'm going to give you a bit of an update on what's kind of going on, plans for the car, and also what it's been like living with that car for the last 4 years. Yeah, watch on and enjoy. See you in a bit. I wanted to give you a kind of update on what's kind of happening with the channel and kind of what we're doing, and also give you any updates we have on the Fiesta ST. So quick little update. I think first update, we haven't really been doing much to the car in terms of modifications, and because of the reason why is obviously it doesn't need anything. It's a Revo Stage 4 with lots and lots of modifications. I think the only thing we're looking to get is potentially a slightly better intercooler ready for the track days of the summer, which is pending obviously this lockdown, but they're starting to filter back through, and we're soon going to be able to do some track days. Also one of the other things I've wanted to get is I'm looking to potentially get a larger crossover pipe, which I haven't got. I've seen cars that have not been running the larger crossover pipe. In my opinion, looking at it as well, there definitely is some kind of restriction, and there's going to be some performance to be had there. So if that's going to make the car run and feel even better, and it's going to make a tiny bit more power, then obviously I'm going to have it. So we're looking to get one of those really soon. We're going to stick that on the car and give you a full review of the difference between a standard crossover pipe and the uprated one, and tell you, yeah, basically the differences and what it kind of makes the car feel like. I'll try and give you some fairly technical data maybe from it as well. Maybe get some 0-60 pulls in our Am Solo DL2, which runs and works a bit like a draggy, so we should be able to get some 0-60 times. Updates on the car. So other than wanting to get the uprated crossover pipe, we have basically changed the tyres on this car. We've gone from the Nankan NS2Rs, which I really did used to like. The more I've kind of used them, the more I've felt they're still a very good tyre, but maybe not as good as I thought. And I decided that I wanted to try some different rubber basically, and having heard so much about the Michelin Pilot Sport 4s or PS4s, I wanted to try them. They're really good price, they're meant to wear decently, and they're meant to be really grippy. They're happy to kind of say that actually we've had them on the car for about 3 months, and grip and feedback from those tyres are far superior, 100%, than the NS2Rs. And the NS2Rs are definitely a really good tyre. I mean, if you haven't watched our track video of us around Snetterton, chasing a good friend, Jake, in his stripped, caged yeah, let's go back onto the ownership of this car. So yes, we've had this car now for 4 years, not a million miles off being 5 years. It'll be 5 years in September. And before I carry on too much, let's have a little bit of fun in the car, because we haven't really given it much stink for a little while. Wind down the windows as well, see if we can get some sound. So good. Oh, this car is amazing. It really is. Questions that you probably will want answered is kind of what is the car like to live with, kind of as a daily driver. Well, 4 years on, obviously for 2 of those years I had this at stage 4. For 2 years roughly I had this at stage 2. So there weren't, I mean, there's no real massive drivability issues of stage 2 or stage 4, to be honest with you. So yeah, I guess what has it been like to live with? Well, miles per gallon from stage 2 and even standard was at something like 34 to 35 miles per gallon. And then once we changed to the stage 4 turbo, stage 4 software, realistically we were still getting 34 to 35 miles per gallon. So if anything, it felt like off boost, cruising around, you actually got better miles per gallon than even when it was stage 2 or standard. It's very efficient in the way it goes about its business. But I still think, as much as you get sometimes those very natural pop and cracks, actually from the stage 4 Revo kit, you also get a very kind of raw, cool sound on this 4-cylinder car, and I still prefer the sound and look of the 4-cylinder Mark 7 over the Mark 8, but the Mark 8 is certainly a cracking car. So definitely no regrets from me to do what I have done to the Mark 7 and not basically going out and buying a Mark 8 when I was in the market to do so. I'm really glad that I ended up stage 4 turbo in this car, and yeah, no, it's been really kind to me. One thing that's probably worth noting or letting people know about is probably actually its reliability. Now, what have I gone through since having the stage 4 mods on the car? Basically not a lot. The car has been super reliable, and I track the car loads. I do probably anything from 15 to 20 track days a year, including Spa, Nürburgring, things like that. And days where I'm even doing a full day plus the evening session. So I'm doing really giving the car a hell of a beating, and it's just taking it. So the only things that we've gone through is brakes, which are very generic and typical, because at the end of the day it's wear and tear, and is the clutch. But the clutch was a standard clutch. It had done circa kind of 40,000 miles. I'm obviously on the TTV clutch and flywheel now, and I love it. It's a bit more brutal. You can tell it will take a lot more power, which it will. I didn't want to trust another standard clutch. It was clearly burnt out at that time. Yes, admittedly, it might be just because it's obviously old, but there's no way that a standard clutch is going to take, I think, the abuse of what I give it. I think if you poodle around or you don't do track days, perhaps the standard AP racing clutch, which is an OEM clutch, may be completely adequate actually for you. But going for if you're really giving the car some stick, and you are taking on track days, I'd definitely recommend this TTV clutch, as long as you don't mind the bite and how it feels. There is a separate video for that. I'll ping that up at the top there for you now to check out, and then that can kind of will allow you to maybe think about whether it is for you or not. At the end of the day, if you have a car that has a lot of power and you give it a lot of abuse, realistically you probably will need an uprated clutch, and a very good one at that. So yeah, look no further than the TTV clutch and flywheel package. Yeah, what is it like to live with? Well, it was the same as when I first did my first review on this car. It's a relatively hard car, tightly sprung, but that, you know, makes for a very good track car, and a fast, fun road car. But any regrets? No. I still think this is a very dailyable car, as long as you don't mind or are not after something that's super comfortable. It isn't that uncomfortable, to be honest with you. It's just fairly stiffly sprung, so if you all of a sudden hit a undulation and a pothole, be ready to kind of feel your teeth chattering a little bit, but other than that, it's been absolute sound as pound. Like I say, it's been so reliable, no major mechanical failures, and actually no mechanical failures, and like I say, this is running somewhere between 330 and 350 horsepower, depending on what dyno you go on. So it's yeah, it's making around 330 horsepower on a dyno dynamics dyno, which means normally if you're getting that kind of power for the weight that this car is, you've got pretty much an absolute rocket ship. And it is really nice to be back out in the car, enjoying these country roads in the sunshine. Temperature's 33, very hot, beautiful day today, and I've been out in the car quite a bit. So also, why do people buy these cars? Why do people go for Mark 7 Fiesta ST? Well, if you don't know about me and you haven't checked out a lot of our other videos, I am a manufacturer test driver, and because of that I test review cars, and I do lots of test reviews on pretty much every car, performance flagship car, so high performance fast cars you can think of, and so I get to drive everything under the sun, every hot hatch, a lot of supercars, a lot of really high-end flagship awesome cars, and there is a lot of amazing cars out there, anything from 20,000 up to £250,000 that I get to drive. And still to this day, I get in this car, and this is as fun, if not more fun, than probably 95% of all cars that I drive. That is how good this car is, and that is how much I love this car. So yeah, it's, you know, I've had this car for 4 years, and I absolutely love it, and that is obviously why I haven't sold it. Obviously, there's bits and bobs that I think if you get to the point and stage of where I am with this car, there's bits that I've put on the car that you really should do, or I would certainly recommend. And feel free to hit us up in the comment section if you've got any questions about the car, or anything you want to know, if it's a car you're considering at this stage, or even at stage 2, or even standard. Hit us up in the comment section, and I'll always reply to everyone. But yeah, the one thing I definitely would say, the go-to mod for me 100% is the brake. So a big brake kit is a must. I am aiming to get, typically speaking, if you mention Peak Performance Reviews or speak to the guys at Hawk Motorsport, they will be able to work you a really favourable price on the BBC big brake kit. So get in contact with them. Links in the bio where you need to go to Hawk Motorsport, and you hit Richard up and tell him Peak Performance Reviews sent you, and he'll get you a special price, and likely to be the lowest price in the UK. So yeah, hit him up, and
stage 2 you can surprise some incredible cars, and the pace it shows around some tracks is absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, the pace in the stage 4 car is crazy. I mean, some of the cars that you really can find yourself beating is absolutely crazy. Too much in cars like this. I don't think you worry so much about the interior, but it seems to have held really well. It's not kind of found and grown any weird groans and rattles, which is really good. The condition of these Recaros have stayed absolutely super fresh and really good. There's no tears in the leather. Obviously it depends on a different person, but you know, being in and out of this car, and the car now doing or up at nearly 51,000 miles, it's held together really well. Like I say, never had any issues with over temp, no other mechanical problems. The car's held together really well. It's been relatively practical most of the time. I mean, yeah, the boot could do be a bit bigger if you needed it. The car for a family, you could get away with it for a little while with a smaller baby perhaps. Beyond that, you would you know, maybe want something bigger, but overall the car is brilliant. But the handling is where it's at, and what's amazing about it. And I mean, you find yourself just squeezing the throttle, and the handling's so good that you find yourself catching you know, traffic really easy. But it's just so much fun, and it makes a good sound as well. Even if you're stage or if you're standard, it still makes a fairly nice sound. But the moment you put an exhaust on this car, stage 2 or stage 4 with you know, nice software and a big turbo, it really does sound seriously good. And obviously if you make a pull in second gear, low down at legal speeds, believe it or not, the car will break traction because of how powerful the car, you know, is. And obviously being front wheel drive, it drags itself a little bit, but it doesn't. It puts the power down reasonably well, actually. I mean, it's no all-wheel drive car or no grippy big tight rear-wheel drive car, but overall it's a decently grippy car on acceleration. It's certainly a very grippy car in handling. I'm going to do a pull 3,000 RPM. I'm going to punch roll it, so 3,000 RPM, foot down, tiny bit of lag in it. Very quick car. Yeah, you get basically between probably 3 and 3.5, tiny bit of lag, and then at 3.5 the car really comes on song and is bloody fast, and it pulls all the way to a 7,000 does grip, and then the chassis does everything it needs to do and everything it's designed to do, especially in the corners, and it's just, yeah, absolutely amazing. Upkeep to a car like this, because they are, if you look after them, they really do stay bomb proof. And I'll give you a prime example. Do you know what, I don't want to you know, tempt fate. I look after this car really well, but I don't do anything unnecessary, and I look after it well. Do, you know, oil changes when it needs to be changed. I do plug changes, filter changes, etc. You know, probably a little bit more than some people would do, but probably only every half a year or so. Car's been standing for a while, and I reckon I haven't changed the oil for probably a good 6-7 months easily this time round, maybe even longer, probably a year, which is quite naughty for me. But I do use like a really high-end decent race oil in this car. But you know, at the end of the day, the engine is the heart and soul, and the lifeblood of the whole motor is that oil. So I do use a high-end decent race oil, which is like a rock oil, and I use for this car, since it's been stage 4 especially, I've gone from the standard 5 weight 20 to a 5 weight 40. And the reason why I've done that is because it's like any race situation. If you watch my video on race oils and understanding them in my PDR Tech Garage, it's quite an interesting view and video, if you like that kind of thing, and it gives you an insight as to why you should choose a certain oil, so check that out. But that explains basically why I'm using a 540 in this now. It's mainly just because it's simply, you know, quite staggering performance now, and it's very modified, I guess. If you've ever had a chance to go out in a Mark III Focus RS, it kind of makes it feel like a modified Focus RS. You get that power and torque feel in a little car that you remember being only 200 or 250 horsepower or 240 horsepower when it was stage 2. So your brain, if you're not ready for it, it almost can't comprehend how, you know, how powerful this car is. You know, in a stock motor, no you know, big huge changes. There's no internal work on the motor. It's completely standard fuel system as well. So actually, with that, I mean, don't get me wrong, you have to spend quite a bit of money to do stuff right in this car. You do have to spend a bit of a chunk of change to kind of do things right and get it up to this level. But to get it to the next stage, yes, you'll need to spend obscene amounts, but for what you get for the amount of money you spend on something like this Revo Stage 4 kit and how quick it makes the car, it's not that bad. Value for money, actually, pound per horsepower, is pretty staggering, especially with the fact that the power to weight ratio is absolutely outstanding, like absolutely out of this world. Yeah, I mean, you could probably start with a more powerful car out of the factory, and you get up to those power levels easier, but it's not that easy for a lot of cars to get up to the 350 horsepower mark. So to have a car that can, you know, it's a 1.6 litre motor that gets up to, you know, 350 horsepower, and I've had this on the car, and I've had this power for, you know, through 2.5 years. It's pretty staggering on a stock fuel system and on a stock motor, and how much I beat on this car, the amount of track days and stuff I do, the amount of abuse I give it, it's pretty damn amazing, to be honest with you. So yeah, that for me, and everything else I've mentioned, is why if you've got the money and you're in the market for something like this, it's on your radar, go and test drive one first and foremost. Go and drive one, because they are definitely, in my opinion, still to this day, one of the best cars ever created, and Ford absolutely created a genuine masterpiece with this car.
The end of our vlog. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got any comments for us, hit us up in the comment section. Any questions, we'll always like to answer them. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you again on the next one. Bye for now.